He was a brave warrior, and he was very skilled in the art of swordsmanship. He was a warrior full of bravery and courage, and unparalleled intelligence and wisdom. The people of the city believed him to be their messiah, and they had a lot of confidence in him. That warrior used to practice swordsmanship for several hours every day, and spent the rest of his time reading books. He used to share people's sorrows and pains and would try to help them as much as possible. One day he was busy studying a book till late at night. Suddenly he felt that someone is in his room. There was someone, and taking his name he looked back, but no one was there. He thought it was his illusion, and who could come at this hour of the night? But this time he heard a very clear voice, and when he looked back, there was a shadowy object waving in the wind. The warrior did not panic, and drew his shining sword from the scabbard, and challenged that shadow in a loud voice. "Who are you, and what did you come here to get?" A shadow waving in the wind answered, "I have come to entertain you from the world of fantasy." The warrior asked, "What is this concept of the world of imagination?" Shadow replied, "It is such a colorful and beautiful world where you can see whatever you want. Do you also want to see something special, something never seen before?" The warrior said, "I have no interest in this fantasy world, and now you leave here otherwise. I will use my sword." The shadow replied with great satisfaction, "That you don't get angry. I will not harm you. Let's do a small drill. I will show you a rare sword in the world that is made of pure gold, silver, and diamond gems. It has magical powers." Hearing about the sword, the warrior became curious. He had a deep connection with the art of swordsmanship, and he wanted to know about this sword. He became restless and indecisive. The warrior said, "I would like to see that rare sword." The shadow said, "That you stand near the window in the room. I will create this vision in the sky." When the shadow showed the sight of that rare sword to the warrior, he stared at the sword made of gold and diamond jewels. He had never seen such a sword in his entire life, that for a long time. He was looking at this sword with amazement, and he turned to the shadow and said, "Can you show more swords like this?" Shadow shows the warrior many rare and expensive swords. Every sword has its unique beauty and quality. Several hours passed, and the warrior saw one sword after another. The time was not known. The warrior was very happy that night. The feeling of seeing brand new swords was very interesting and meaningful for him. In the early morning, the shadow says that it's time for me to go. The warrior said, "Okay, you go, but promise that you will come again tomorrow night." The shadow promised and left. The warrior waited for the next night very anxiously. The shadow came in the night as promised and asked the question of the warrior. "Hello, warrior. Would you like to watch something else interesting or strange? Or do you want to see amazing things?" The warrior immediately replied, "Yes, I want to see the most beautiful mountains in the world." The shadow satisfied him and started showing the most beautiful mountains in the world in the sky. The warrior had never seen such beautiful mountains before. He got lost in their beauty, and the passage of time was not known. Now this shadow started visiting the warrior's house daily and started showing rare things from around the world. One day he said to the shadow that I wanted to see the most powerful warrior in the world, and also wanted to see them fighting in battle. The shadow, when all this was shown to him, so that is the power of these warriors, he was amazed to see the skills and bravery of these warriors. And one after the other, he kept watching. Now it's night spending watching those visuals in the sky. Due to staying up all night, his sword training in the morning gets disturbed because of that. And now his heart gets lost in these scenes that he used to see at night. The book reading at night was also non-existent, because most of its time passes with the shadow. Sometimes he would look at the beautiful places of the world, or the animals of ancient times. Then he also started seeing other planets. He watched the moon and the sun, and the infinite stars in the galaxy. He is now completely lost in this imaginary world, practicing swordsmanship, reading books, and help from people around most ignored. These fascinating sights are completely cut off from the real world. Days turned into months, and the months turned into years. The warrior whose stories of art, skill, and bravery were famous is now a lazy person. He now lives in an imaginary world with a lack of courage and passion. A is like a hollow man. The glitter of his sword had fallen, and it was rusted and part of the junk in the room. The books were also covered with dust. One night while watching beautiful scenes, he fell asleep, and then because of someone laughing too loudly, his eyes opened. He got up nervously. Then he saw that the same shadow was standing in front of him laughing. But at this time, the shadow comes with a very horrible face and standing in front of him. The warrior asked, "Who are you, and where did that shadow go?" "So," he answered, "I am that shadow with which you spend your months and years and see all the amazing visuals. I'm actually a devil. I came to distract you from the goal, and in that, I totally succeeded." The warrior asked, "What purpose? I do not understand." "The devil says that my fellow devils attacked your city and killed everyone there. We destroyed the city. In doing this work, you were the biggest obstacle. You were the greatest warrior in the world. Because of your abundant blessings, you could save this city and these people, but now it's too late. Now you have nothing left. Now this city will be ruled by demons." That warrior warrior was shocked to hear this news. He was speechless, in shock and grief. He asked this demon that I was your biggest enemy then, so why didn't you just first kill me earlier? The demon replied, our king had prophesied that no one would defeat you. You were surrounded by light forces which you gained after years of exercise and lots of great effort. Good deeds and good thoughts are your protectors. If anyone could defeat you, it was you. So I first attacked your thoughts and started distracting you with beautiful imaginary things. The things which do not exist in reality, so that you become weak inside. Your attention and focus will be lost. And this is your situation today, that you are not able to even save yourself? Warriors heard all this, and he became restless with pain and suffering and started crying at his loss. If we look at our daily life, it will be revealed to us that shadow also sneaked into our lives. The name of this shadow is the internet or social media. They have numerous advantages, but their list of disadvantages is long. Excessive use of mobile phones and social media portals develops depression, anxiety, loneliness, and self-harm. There is even a risk of suicidal thoughts, multitasking and attention deficit constantly hammering our minds, and it leads us to short attention spans, which is called a lack of focus. This affects our personal and professional matters. It affects our performance. Stray thoughts with wandering notions stay away from the real purpose of our life. We forget who we are and what is our destination. Therefore, we should use social media and the internet with responsibility and understanding, so it couldn't harm us, and use it wisely so it won't come out as a curse for us.